Nothing will work if you don't do it. Think about the last diet that you ever went on. It could be losing weight or trying to bulk up, gain weight. If you didn't stick to the routine, and it doesn't matter what it was. Maybe you've tried a fad diet, maybe you tried counting calories, maybe you tried increasing your protein, and you may or may not have succeeded. But you know what? No matter what you would have done, whether you cut out all your carbs or you moved more, you exercised every day, whatever you would have done, it would have worked. You could have done the keto diet, the Atkins diet. You could have done Weight Watchers. You could have just had an accountability buddy. But the fact is, if you do the thing works. The problem is that we fall out of our routines. The problem is that we don't do it. And for whatever the reason is, maybe something in life happened and got in the way. Maybe the motivation trickled away and you just didn't want to do it anymore. Maybe there were much better things that you decided you could be doing instead of getting up early, going to bed early, meal prepping, exercising. But that's dieting. What I'm listening to, what I'm thinking about with programs, with book studies, with Bible studies, with prayer, if you don't do it, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter who said it. If it came from Billy Graham, Dr. David Jeremiah, James Kennedy, that program is useless if you don't do it. So I don't think that the trick to your evangelism, to your hospitality, to building relationships, to fixing relationships, to communicating better, to loving more, I don't think any of that is going to be found in your material. It's going to be found in you. It's going to be found in how you put it into practice, in the way that works for you. One of the ways we get addicted to routine and habit is by doing the thing that we look forward to doing. And so I know a lot of people who don't want to go up and talk to strangers. You don't want to bother people. You don't want to interrupt. You don't want to make them feel overwhelmed or be overbearing. Totally understandable. But the problem is that different people will respond different ways. And different people will respond differently to you. Now the thing that changes is the people. But the thing that doesn't change is you. You are the constant, and God is the constant. The Holy Spirit is in you, and He is waiting to burst out of you in the way that you are. God has blessed you with gifts. God has blessed you with words, with speech, with friendliness. But regardless, the combination of all those spiritual gifts, only by the power of the Holy Spirit coming through you, is what's going to work. So throw the book out the door about how you should be hospitable and be hospitable. Throw the book out the door about how you should evangelize and just start talking about Jesus. Just because your story doesn't line up with someone else, that is completely and totally fine, because how that person's story lines up with the people they talk to is very different and can be, and it will reach people that you will never reach. But we should never underestimate the power, both of the Spirit within us, but the power of the boldness of being ourselves. If you're afraid of rejection, I heard this woman say something really smart about how it's like being a beverage. You could be the best poured, crispest, most refreshing glass of Sprite over 6 cubes of ice in a tall pint glass in a warm day. The perfect glass of Sprite. But if you come across someone who doesn't like Sprite, it doesn't matter how great you are at it, at being Sprite, or how good you are, how well you taste, how refreshing you are, if you're not the right person. That goes for romantic relationships. But sometimes it's not even that they didn't want a Sprite, but they wanted something else. They wanted a Coke, they wanted a iced tea, they wanted a coffee. The thing is, we shouldn't take rejection personally. And so if you come and you present Jesus to someone and it's not in the package that they need, that's okay. It could be that they've never even had what you're talking about. It could be that they just prefer to receive it in a different way. And that's when someone else's gifts are going to come and water that seed. And that's what we're talking about. The problem is you don't know if that person likes Sprite or not. And God's giving you the Sprite. So you need to go pour it out. You need to go try to give it to others. And when you find the few who needed that glass of Sprite, who needed that drink that day, and it could be the moment you catch them in. They might not even know they loved Sprite, but when you give it to them, it's going to change their life. And that's what matters. It's not about bringing them to church. It's not about putting them in a pew. It's not about bringing them to other people who will tell them they need to hear it from you. That's what Jesus was trying to tell us. Go and make disciples. Take what I've given you and pour it out into others. And so I'm here to tell you that the trick is to be bold. Do those materials help? Do reading books and seeing videos like this and everything else, these things help? Yes, absolutely. This can be very motivational. Or maybe when you're standing in front of an opportunity, you'll remember something that you read or that you've seen, and it'll inspire you to be bold. I'm telling you, it's that boldness. It's not the pull of saying, I should say something to that person. Even if you turn and walk away, and then you realize, man, I really should have said this. You know what? Turn around. Stop yourself and be bold in your moment and turn around and go back and say it. Say, oh, by the way. That is the one step that's going to make a big difference. And it doesn't mean that you don't have to be yourself. And maybe that's not something you would normally do, but eventually, when you are constantly bold, you will define your new normal. Your new normal will be bold. And that's when it will work. And that's when we will win people to Christ. It's boldness to say the different thing. It's boldness to act a different way. It's boldness to be someone that genuinely cares about someone else, particularly in our society. If you want it to work, make it work. And as long as you do it, it will. So hang in there. God bless.